Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Pinoy Abroad. So just making another video here for you. It's March 22nd, it's officially spring, but we do still have a lot of snow outside, guys, and it's still pretty chilly out there even though the temperature are warming up. The good thing is that the snow is starting to melt. The bad thing is that now it's melting, we're at risk of flooding because we've been exceptionally very snowy this year. The good thing is that we have sump pumps in our basement, so it helps pump back the water out of the house. And another good thing is that we live in like an elevation, so our house is situated in like a hill, so that when all these snow melt, it just go down the hill. But we do still see some houses getting flooded here, guys, so it's still a risk. So you asked me how to survive winter here in Minnesota, so I'll be answering that question here. The straight answer to that, guys, is that you'll survive winter. I mean, you live in the United States, you'll have everything that you need. It's not like a third world country or something. I mean, your houses will have insulation, your houses will have a heater, even your cars will have heaters in them, so that everywhere you go, you're warm during the winter time. The real risk that you're running into during the winter time, guys, is depression, and then the risk of catching a frostbite if you're not careful, the risk of catching many diseases during the winter time because you're always indoors, and then also accidents on the roads because it's always slippery because of the snow and the ice and all that stuff. So I'll be talking about these four today, guys. First off, depression. There are things that you can do to alleviate depression. I mean, if you're like me, I'm into winter sports. I love snowboarding, and this is also why I love winter. And if you're not into that, it's not too late to learn. I mean, it can be a little bit spendy in the beginning because, you know, if you're getting an instructor, a professional instructor, to teach you how to ski or snowboard, I mean, you'll pretty much spend quite a bit of money for that. But then you can also do a DIY. I mean, there's YouTube, Google. I did it myself, and I learned it really well. So you could also do it yourself. But if you decide to not go that route, and if you still don't like the cold, there are still things that you can do. I mean, you can go hit the gym, go outside to the mall or the movie theater. Just get yourself outside, you know, so that you're not bored inside the house, if otherwise you're not doing anything in the house. Supplement yourself with some vitamins like vitamin C, vitamin D, because those are the things that you lack during the winter time. That also helps combat depression and stuff. You don't get a lot of sunshine, that's why you're always depressed. But over here in Minnesota, guys, we do get a lot of sunshine during the winter months. When I used to live in Chicago, we barely had any sunshine during the winter months. So it depends on what state you live in. So luckily here in Minnesota, we still see sun during the winter months, and that really helps. So that, I mean, some people wants to walk their dogs outside, and if you're just bundled up properly, the sun really helps warm you up. I wouldn't recommend that on those days that are super cold, like when it's -5 or -2, something like that. But if it's in the 20s or 30s even, that's a good time to go walk your dog or even do something or even jog outside. The second one is the risk for catching a frostbite. And that's very common for people who are not careful. So you really have to be careful. And you have to look at your phone, make sure you're paying attention to the weather forecast and making sure that it's not super cold outside, because frostbite can happen within seconds and sometimes you don't feel it. And which is why you have to invest yourselves into good quality gloves, good quality clothing like jacket, boots, hat, and even earmuffs. Those are not just for fashion, guys. Those are actually to protect you during the winter months. So make sure that you're invested into those kind of things, because they're very important. Another thing, guys, is the lack of physical activity, and you're always indoors. You know, you get lonely and all that stuff. You're catching all these illnesses. So just make sure you wash your hands and make sure you're like you pay attention to people. If you see that they're sick and stuff like that, stay away. And then I wouldn't necessarily say cut down or completely not eat outside in the restaurant, but cut down on them, because most of the time you're catching it from these places. Also, going back to my the first one that I just mentioned, supplement yourselves with some vitamin C, because that you know, those help combat these illnesses and stuff. And then your risk of getting into a lot of accidents in the winter, and that's very common. I see a lot of accidents out on the roads, especially during the winter time, because it gets super slippery. You know, it gets very icy, and if you haven't heard about black ice exist, and they're very treacherous. It can kill you, and so you have to be very mindful when you're driving outside. You have to learn how to drive on the snow, guys. A lot of these accidents happen to people that don't live here in Minnesota. That they're just traveling, they're just crossing the state. You know, they live somewhere else, like another state that don't have snow, and so they have no idea how it's like to drive here. So they have no idea how treacherous it is here in the winter time. So they get ditched into the snowbank, or they get into an accident and stuff like that. So you definitely don't want that to happen to you. So make sure also that your tires are well maintained and you're replacing them when they're very thin and stuff like that. So just make sure maintenance is being taken care of as far as your car is concerned, because that plays a very big role. And that's also a factor, and make sure that you're paying attention and all that stuff. So I hope I've given you some advice here, guys. That's about it for this video. And if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, and if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and share it if you can. And if you have any questions, leave them down below in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer them in my next video. Okay, I'll see you soon. Peace out.